Hi, how are you all? Oh, you're good? Me too. It's nice to see you again. Do you like my dress today? Thank you. And the flowers in my hair? Oh, yes, I do have lots more friends here today. Mickey and Minnie have just come. Special outfit from the Mardi Gras. Samsara's just asleep again. Sit up, Samsara. Say hi to everybody. And Piglet and Eeyore are here as well. Goofy, Daisy and Donald, and of course our friends Minx and Pinky are both here as well. Would you like to hear a story? You would? Okay. What do we have to do before we hear a story though? What was that? I didn't hear you. We have to get rid of the sillies. That's right, because we won't sit still if we've got the sillies. Are you ready? Okay, let's get rid of the sillies in this hand. Oh, and this hand. Oh, they're in my leg. Oh, and my other leg. Oh, all over me. Get rid of those sillies. Go. Oh. That's better. But I still feel like I want to move a bit. Maybe we should do some exercises first. You'd like to do some exercises with me? Okay, are you ready? Let's take a deep breath in. Go in and out. And in and out. One more. Big breath in. And out. Big jump up to the sky, down to the floor. Little toes on the floor. See if you can get them tapping on the floor. That's right. Get them tapping just like that. Get them tapping. And kick them up to the sky. As high as you can go. Oh, onto your tummies. Show me your beautiful faces. See if you can kick your legs up to your bottoms. I can see your toes. Oh, spin yourself around. Stretch those legs up to the sky. Walk those fingers down, 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 and push your toes. And up. Walk those fingers down, down, down. Push those toes. And up. Oh, that's so much better. Are you ready for a story now? Me too. Okay, let's all get nice and comfy. I've got a story about Fancy Nancy. I'm going to come a little bit closer to my friend over here, Minnie Mouse. Fancy Nancy. I like Fancy Nancy because she likes to dress up just like me. Oh, you like to dress up too? That's fabulous. We can all dress up together. Fancy Nancy. Look at those beautiful clothes. And I think she's wearing her mummy's high heels. They look a little bit big for her, but they do look very good. This is my room before I made it fancy. Pretty plain, isn't it? What's that? Her little friend's fancy down here. I wonder how she makes it fancy. I love being fancy. Look at her room now. Look at that. It's beautiful. There's flowers everywhere. Hearts and toys. It's very fancy now. My favourite colour is fuchsia. That's a fancy way of saying purple. I like to write my name with a pen that has a plume. That's a fancy way of saying feather. I can't wait to learn French because everything sounds fancy in French. There she is. She looks very fancy with her feathered pen, doesn't she? Has anybody else got a feathered pen? I think I have somewhere. Oh, you do, Mickey. Oh, I'm sure you do. Nobody in the family is fancy at all. They never even ask for sprinkles. Gotta have sprinkles? How can you not have sprinkles? There's a lot I don't understand. Lace-trimmed socks do help me play football better. Sandwiches definitely taste better when you stick in a frilly toothpick. Look at that. When she goes to play football, she has her fancy socks on. And when she has sandwiches, she makes them fancy with toothpicks. Now that's a good idea, isn't it? We could put a beautiful little toothpick on it and make it all fancy when we're having lunch today. The princess. A princess is supposed to keep a tiara on. She's putting her tiara on her doll. I don't think her doll wants to keep it on. I'd like to wear a tiara though. Wouldn't you like to wear a tiara? What's a fancy girl to do? I asked my doll Marabella. Her full name is Marabella Lavinia Chandelier. That's a very fancy name. Then I get an idea that is stupendous. That's a fancy word for great. I wonder what her idea is. Maybe I can teach my family how to be fancy. I make an advert and stick it on the fridge. Wonder what it says. Learn to be fancy with lessons from Nancy. Start today. Easy, fun and free. What a great idea. Who else would like to be fancy? I wonder if we could go to lessons. Oh, here's her instructions. If it's plain yellow, but fancy for yellow is gold. Leather, fancy is patent leather. Glasses, sunglasses. So they're all the fancy things that she's thinking of. Soon there's a knock on my door. The family saw the advert. They wanted to get started right away. They're all going to be fancy just like her. The trouble is, my family doesn't own any fancy clothes. That's okay. I go and find what is fancy in the world, and yes, some accessories. Wow, she's got a lot of things there. She's even got a bag of bows. I bet you guys like to have bows in your hair. Yes, even the boys sometimes like to wear bows in their hair. Ooh la la, my family is posh. That's a fancy word for fancy. My mum twirls in front of the mirror. Why don't we go somewhere fancy tonight? How about a dinner party at the King's Crown, Dad suggested. Wow, my parents acting fancier already. Look at them. Look at Daddy's hat. He's got a hat on his head. I bet you he doesn't normally wear a hat at all. May I escort you, lovely ladies, outside to our limousine is waiting. My dad's the chauffeur. That's a fancy word for driver. When we arrive at the King's Crown, everybody looks up. They probably think we're movie stars. Look at them all dressed up and all fancy. I'm so proud, my whole family. They eat their pinkies up and calling each other darling. Darling, let's have a piece of this, darling. Oh, and we'll have some of that, darling. And that, darling. That's being fancy. Oh, you're trying to be fancy too? Put your pinky up. That's it. Now you've got to talk with a fancy voice. Can you talk with a fancy voice? Oh, you're so clever. That's fantastic. For dessert, let's have parfaits. My mum says, that's French for ice cream sundaes. Amazing. My mother knows French. Does anybody else have a mother that knows another language? Maybe Indian? Do you speak Indian? I don't speak Indian. Maybe Russian? Maybe French? Okay, you're going to go and find out later. Thank you. When our parfaits are ready, I curtsy and say, "Merci." Mercy's French for thank you. I carry the tray like a fancy waiter. Oops! I trip and I slip. The tray goes a double flip. Oh no, look at it. It's everywhere. All of that beautiful ice cream sundae. Oh, sorry, parfaits. I don't feel fancy anymore. I want to go home. After I get all cleaned up and I put on my peignoir, that's a fancy word for dressing gown, I feel much better. I'm ready for a parfait. I tell my parents, thank you for being fancy tonight. I love you, my dad says. I love you, my mum says. And all I say back is, I love you, because there isn't a fancy or better word of saying that. Did you like that book? I did too. Thank you for joining me again today for story time. And thank you guys as well. It's been nice seeing you. Bye. Mwah. Mwah. And